Hey guys, this is Kim with Creative Crafticality. Welcome back. Today I have a paper crafting haul for you. This is from Kokorosa. They are a paper crafting company that sells a lot of the thin metal dies as well as paper and all kinds of different scrapbooking paper crafting supplies. So if you want to check them out, I'll have a coupon code down below for you. And I'll have the links for these items so you can check them out if you wish. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you the things that they sent me, and then I will show you projects that I made using these items. And then if you stick around to the end of the video, I will do a little process craft with me and show you what I did, how I made one of those projects. So I'll start over here. This one is a really cool die set. It's a background for a card or a journal page, and then it has flowers and some leaves, a little leaf design there. It's really cool. You can put some wording here. This would be really cool to make like a journal cover or a card and add a sentiment, things like that. So really cool. I really love their new packaging. When I did a collaboration with them before, they did not have these cute little fox packaging. So anyway, I thought they were super adorable. So this one is upside down. It's actually a squirrel and a tree branch. So that is super adorable. This one is farm animals. So I love that. This one is a set of cats with umbrellas. And then this one is like a bookmark floral design. So I think I may be playing around with this later in the video. And then this one is a shell design, kind of an overall frame for a card or a journal cover or something like that. And then the last one, this was a freebie that they sent me for spending a certain amount, and you get a freebie if you spent, I think it was like $40, I'm not sure, but I thought this was really cool. It could be used for if you did a Tinkerbell theme journal or page layout, or you can like a fairy theme. So pretty cool. So now I'll go ahead and show you the projects that I made with all of these. Okay, so I was going to show you the items that I made with all of my dies. Stick around because I'll be making this at the end of the video. And if you want to subscribe here on the channel, I'm going to finish this up and do a flip through of this on a separate video. But I wanted to go through and just show you the different dies that I used on these. So this one here, super cute. I did this little card. It says, "I'm nuts about you." It is like a folded stair card, I guess you would say. I'll try and put the links down below for the tutorials that I used to make these. So this is the die with the squirrel and the tree. So I think he turned out super cute. And it sets up like that too, because it's kind of a mountain fold. So it sits up, very super cute. And then this set here, I made this card, and I made it into like a see-through panel, and just love how that turned out. And then the cat set here with the umbrellas, I made this card. So it opens up like that, and then there's another cat. I just used 2 of the cats for this, and I had this stamp set in my stash that had the rain and the heart and everything. And then for this farm set, I made this super cute card. It's a birthday card. And I cut out the barn using a Cricut file, and I will have the link for that down below. But it opens up like that, and there's the other. Like, I used all three of the pieces. I just cut it. So there's the cow and the other chicken in there. So I think that turned out really cute. And then this, the conch shell die, I decided to make that into a little junk journal, and I used a really super thick lunch sack. I found these bags. They're not, I don't think they're lunch sacks. They're more of like a grocery store sack, but they're a little bit bigger than a lunch sack. I'm not sure. They're probably about 7 inches. It's 7 inches tall. The bag itself is 7 inches wide. But I found a bunch of them new in the bins, and so I picked them up to make little junk journals out of them. And I think this turned out really cute. I had the beach, these stickers here and this in my stash. I think they're a Jolie, way back from when I was when I first started scrapbooking. But I can show you this. I attached this tie all the way around, and then you open it up here. So I sewed it along the top and the bottom, the whole length of the lunch sack. So that made a little pocket here. I haven't filled anything in here. I'm going to do that in a little bit. And then I sewed these pockets. This was a scrapbook collection that I had. There were some cut aparts. So I just put a bunch of different, I had some ocean themed vintage papers that I used in here, and some dyed papers, different things like that. And you'll see this later on. But in the back, I'll show you the back part here. There's just this little pocket in there. And the back is also a pocket, so that it's sewed here and here, but there's that large pocket. You can see where it opens up like a regular lunch sack, but it's just sewn into there so you can hide things in there. And I'll finish this up and do another video flip through, and then that will be in my Etsy shop. And then the last one is this die, and this is the one I'll be showing you how I made. And this is how I did it. Or this is what it looks like, actually. I made a little belly band that goes around the whole thing. And then this opens up like that. So you can write wherever you want to write inside either of the flaps. And this has the measurements. You'll see that when I make it. I haven't erased that off there yet, but I think this one turned out really cute. Alright, so stick around and you can see how I made this card. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to make a cool card using this die. And the things that I have, you'll need a piece of cardstock that is 12 inches by 5 1/4. So I have this pink embossed paper. There's just some paper that I had from Michael's. And then you need a strip that is 1.5 inches wide by 10 inches. And this is the band. So what you want to do first is take your paper, your 12-inch paper, and score it lengthwise at 4 1/4 inches, 7 1/4 inches, and 10.5 inches. So I have done that already for this. And now I'm just going to be doing a mountain fold on this. So I'm going to start over here on this side where there's the most paper, and you're going to fold it. And then you're going to do an opposite fold on the next crease or scored mark, and then an opposite fold on the last little bit there. So you will have this. And since my paper is not double-sided as far as the color goes, this is just for the example. If I make this, you know, the final card, I will erase that part. But since this is white here, I don't like this white, so I'm just going to glue a piece of the same paper onto this so it makes it pink. Quickly do that. This glue is almost out. All right, and then I cut a strip of white. This is kind of a shimmery pearl paper that I had in my stash. It's a card, like a really thin cardstock. I cut it just slightly smaller than this little section here. So just so you know the measurements, this section here is 1.5, a little bit bigger than 1.5 inches. And then I made this about 1 7/8 wide. And then this was the 5 3/4 this way. So I made this piece 5.5. So it leaves a slight pink border all the way around. I should have refilled my glue. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue this part down. And then I had a little paper pad. I think it was a Stamps for Life paper pad called the Forever Collection. I don't think that they sell it anymore. I tried to find it on their website and they didn't show it. So it's a double-sided little 8x8 pad, and it has these. So I decided to go with, for the bigger section, this flower part, and I cut it slightly smaller again so I'd have that border. So it's 4 inches by 5.5. So I'll go ahead and glue that down. And then I'm going to put a piece of this piece here on this part. I'm not going to put anything on these sides. So let me look at the measurements for this. This is 3 7/8, or 2 7/8, I'm sorry, by 5.5. Now you could use a tape runner if you'd like. I just always use tacky glue. It's your personal preference as to the glue that you use. So just center that. So we have it like this. Now, I have the little pieces, and I'm going to grab, I have all my little pieces that I cut out with this die. Now you could use the opposite of what I'm doing. I'm using the actual pieces that cut out of this for mine, but I'll show you a picture here from the Kokorosa website that shows them using the piece without the little pieces. They use it white and then they put color behind it, but for mine I'm doing it opposite. So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm showing you I have I cut some coordinating, it's like an aqua color that goes along with this paper as the leaves, and I have the little leaf pieces here, and then I cut a coordinating pink, it matches, of a cardstock for all the little flower pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and start gluing these all onto this piece here, and I'll kind of speed us up because this will be really a little bit tedious but not too difficult. Mainly just the little petals will be. So I need to grab my smaller glue that has a little fine tip. That'll be easier for this, and then we'll get started. All right, so I got that all down. I think the hardest parts were just the little tiny ones in the middle there. I had to use my, as you saw, my little tweezers to get the tiny little leaves on there and placed correctly. But I got that down. I think that looks really pretty. So now you're going to take your strip that is the 10 inches by 1.5 inches, and where you scored it, well, I scored it at 2.5 inches on this side, and then 7 1/8 inches. And then you'll fold it like that, and that's going to make the little piece that will go over. I haven't glued it yet. So I'm just going to put some glue here. You don't need to do it that way, but I was just showing you how that works. So I'm just going to put some glue down. This is just a little sleeve that will close the card. And then I just made a little stamp. This was from a collection from Recollections, a spring acrylic stamp set. And let me see how big this is. This you can make any size you want, actually, but it's 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. Stamped it, and then I made this piece 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. And then put this back on. You know what, this is, I might as well just put this on here to cover up the seam there. So I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to do it right in the center, I think. I don't want to cover up too much of this, but maybe I'll just move it over a little bit like that. At first I had it going over, so I may just do that. And I think I want to add some ribbon right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on just so I can make sure I get it in the right spot. I'm just going to go down just the center of my card. Leave space on top and bottom since it's bigger than the actual band. There we go. All right, I found some of this in my stash. It's a lace ribbon. I'm pretty sure it's vintage. Yeah, it looks pretty vintage. I think I found that at the bins. But it's an aqua little dot. It's really pretty. So I'm going to use that and, whoops. Okay, let's worry about that. I didn't get enough glue on there. I need to pull out my bigger glue, not use that one for this part. And I'm going to pull this back off because it's making it a little difficult. So I'm not going to do a bow. I'm just going to tie a double knot and just leave it with ends. Now this card is something that you'll probably have to pay more postage on because it has all the different layers and the ribbon. So, I mean, it definitely would think about doing, you know, definitely think about this if you were going to make a mass amount of these cards, because they would cost extra, unless you're just handing them out to people. But if you're sending them through the mail, I would consider a different style of card. I'm just trimming the ends off. Pulling my regular glue instead of the tiny little precision glue, and finish this off. This will slide on. It's probably easier to go from the bottom up. And actually, I'm going to trim off. I don't know, you could trim those little pieces off, or just make this belly band a little bit wider, but I'm going to do that. Now, glue our last piece on here. That should be enough. All right, so that is it, guys. Now, ideally, I would use a double-sided, like a regular whole piece of cardstock that's colored on both sides. Unless you want it, you know, unless you have a double-sided printed that you wanted to use as a background. I just did not, I wanted to use this paper, and the only piece of pink that matched that I had in my stash was this paper. That's not, it's just single-sided color embossed. So no big deal. I'll just need to go back and erase my measurements, but I just wanted you guys to see what the measurements were. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this little tutorial at the end, and go ahead and check out Kokorosa. That is here, kokorosa.com. I have a coupon code down in the description for you, as well as all the links for each of the dies, minus the Tinkerbell one, because that was a freebie, probably a clearance item. So anyway, yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Leave me a comment and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality. Bye. God bless.